golf coverage.
We didn't practice. It won't matter.
I jotted some things down. As you can see, 25 years, things have changed a little bit. I can't see them really, so I'm going to guess a little bit now. Anyway, Jeff, we certainly thank you for the invitation from the Veterans Alumni from the Fairmont Alumni Association. And it's really a thrill to get an opportunity again to talk about my team, your team. And when we look back at what has transpired since this group, I mean, it's just amazing. And then, of course, one of my players made a comment, which I should mention. He said, now, let's say that I'd have missed that shot down in Tech and we'd have lost. Just think about what would have happened with the history of Joe Retton and Fairmont State Basketball. Only you would know who that philosopher is. Anyway, I mean this with all seriousness. We certainly thank you people who have come here again to pay tribute to our team. And I'm really grateful to these guys and these girls, really, that started something at Fairmont State that was just, it's really storybook. You can just write the chapters and each chapter, and it was just a storybook. And then, of course, we think about some of our people who were part of us then and there's part of us now, but that might not be here. And I think of the guy, Eston K. Feaster, who was our president. And of course, every time I mention some of these guys, I think of a little story as such. And we'll never forget the time that Ted woke up. Now, T and all you players, I talk about Ted. My guys have accused me, not then, they accused me of having a favorite, see. They didn't know that I had Ted 4 years at Berwickville, see, and of course I had him groomed, you know, what to do, and so on. Now these guys, like Stan, I had to change the attitude quite a bit. But anyway, I'll give you just a little story here. Really, Dr. Dillman, you get an opportunity to get KC shortly, there's no doubt about it. But Ted woke up against, we'd won 2 in a row. Of course, out there you got to win 3 to stay there. Man, you have to get over that hump. So we're going to play a team by the name of St. Benedict's. And as you can see, I'm going to be shooting all over here because I lost mine. Anyway. So, anyway, Ted wakes up. It's probably Thursday morning, Ted. Am I correct? Thursday morning? Yeah. Ted wakes up with a jaw like this. And man, we're going to play St. Benedict's, who is just across town. And when they bring him in, they probably brought in 4,000 or 5,000 people. And Ted wakes up with a jaw like this. Well, fortunately, we had a good doctor friend of ours, Dr. Evans, Dr. Tom Evans, and he contacted the dentist, of course, that morning that so they extracted one or two. They extracted, of course, stitched it up, so and of course he played that night. So then the great Dr. Feaster, Ted, wanted to make sure that we were going to win because he wanted to stay there. I think he had other interests, but anyway. Dr. Feaster had a suite. See, the presidents now, you know, they're, anyway. Dr. Feaster had a suite, and I will say this. He had a suite, not because he was president. He had a suite because they had lost his reservations. We accused him of that, you know. Anyway, he did give Ted, and of course Ted probably forgot because as you get older, you kind of mess. But he gave Teddy his room, because he wanted to make sure he got his best. And so we're going to stay there for the rest of the week or so. Anyway, things did happen positively. When we think of Feaster, we have to think certainly of a guy named Otis Myron. Otis, he's the only guy that can say anything he wanted to anywhere he plays. I won't mention Bobby Knight or anything, but he could say what he wanted to say. I think we could. Great guy, great guy. Anyway, we think of Otis. We think of our another friend that meant so much to you and our team service with us. I mean, he's great. And of course, we're very fortunate to have Mikey with us, who is a daughter of Wilfred Squibb. And so you talk about great. Man, I mean, I can talk about these guys. But let me think of the voice of Frank Woody. Dorothy, I was his roommate. I really had a difficult time keeping track of it. Frank and I, he said he went to church every morning, and really anyway, I'm not saying he didn't. And then we think of Jack Conrad, and we think of Pete Pell, and we think of, man, I mean, we've had so many great guys that meant so much to our team, that made us, you know, that did the extra thing, that made us feel like, man, hey, they're for us. I mean, they'll just do anything for us. So anyway, we just felt great that they just helped us, and I'm grateful to all of those guys, and that's really just made our state, Fairmont State, great. And then, of course, my team. What a start that you have given us at Fairmont State in the athletic field. And then, of course, I think about some memories here. My first year at Fairmont State was 63, and I inherited all these guys. Now, I'm not saying to tell you that I would have gotten them all. I mean, I inherited them. So I had to do something with them. So, lo and behold, we get on a pie, scheduled us a trip down to Western Carolina, Conaway. Western Carolina. Western was tough. Western finished in the finals the year before with Penny. So they had some great ball clubs there. They had 9 full scholarships. All the 3 teams that we played, of course, we didn't have any. And when we went there, we lost 3 consecutive games. And honestly, we played as well as we could play. And I really believe that experience there was a start of our basketball program at Fairmont State. So it was true, you know, some doggone obstacles. And of course, our kids wouldn't take an obstacle and say, we're going to lose or we're going to be defeated, we're going to do this. They would make a plus out of it. And we did. I say we did. I mean, it was just a super experience. And then, of course, we go back to the tournament that really changed, I think, the history of Fairmont State basketball, Fairmont State athletics. And I look back at the tournament. We played the great, as all of you know, the great tech ball club. And Neil did a tremendous job coaching. And then, of course, they had a great player by the name of Mike Barrett. He was a coach on the floor. He later played on the Olympic team and tell you something about it. Played some pro ball. But at the tournament here, at the old Civic Center, halftime, I think they had us down, what? You all can remember. 9 points. And we come back. And of course, at halftime, they'd already picked Mike Barrett as the most valuable player. So then, of course, it's history that we beat Tim became the most valuable player. And then we stayed over that night and Sunday night to play Tech down at Tech. And what an experience. You go down to Tech, I mean, it was some experience. And of course, TC's never let me forget about the 2 points that he made. Put us one up, you know, and then of course we go back to Fairmont, we beat them there, and of course our first trip to Kansas City, and we went by train. All of us get on the train, and you talk about family. I mean, it was probably the most beautiful experience, you know, just say, have all your cheerleaders and your some of your faculty, and of course our players, and it was just an experience that was unbelievable. So anyway, I'm certainly grateful to all of you that has really made Fairmont State superb, and you've really made my life great. What do you have in terms of athletics? I mean, when you get to the memories, and those memories are rich, super. I should tell you a little story about Mel. Really, I mean, he was super about a lot of things. His knowledge about basketball. Well, anyway, I'll tell you how good he was in basketball. He would tell me, Coach, 3. Well, I put in 13 or 32 or 49 or what. Of course, we'd win. So I did just the opposite of what he would tell me. You really helped us tremendously. Anyway, what I would like to do really is introduce my players, your players, and let them say a word or 2 or 3 about whatever. And my players, that also include cheerleaders, and they're prettier and whatever. I'd rather introduce them first anyway. On this list now, when I start with the players, and it so happens that Teddy Darcus comes up first, it's not because he's my favorite. But if you all would have had the opportunity to be with us last night, you would have got some inside stuff that I can't talk about what happened, you know, like in terms of red check, you know, we had some interesting things. Especially after we win. They thought they could get away with something. Okay, Mikey Reagan. Mike, would you, what? You want to stand up there? And Mike, would you stand up and come up here and want to say something? You got to say something.
Oh, dear.
Stop it.
Thank you all very much. It's always a pleasure to come back. I'm a Fairmont State person and will be forever, and I love to come back and see everybody. I'd like to thank those of you who planned this dinner today, and thank the team that we supported and followed for those great times at Fairmont State. And also, Coach Retton, thanks for the memories. We really appreciate it.
Linda Cooper.
Beach would come forward so we can give them justice.
Thanks very much for having us back. It's a great pleasure. Not to mention the memories it brings back. It was a great 4 years we spent with Coach Retton, the team, the cheerleaders. And it's always nice to come back to Charleston for the tournament. I might also put a plug in for the Charleston distance run, which I like to do. Thanks a lot.
Judy Lubin, here, Elaine Fox, Elaine Gnostic. My next little gal, who I coached Crockett.
I'm just sorry that you all didn't get to see some of the performances last night because Mikey was the only cheerleader that still remembered the fight song, and she did the entirety of the fight song. I was delighted last night to see, and also she remembered the 2 cheers that we had. But thank you very much to Fairmont State College for hosting this. This was wonderful. Thank you very much for all my centers. And we do have many fond memories, and this was a very close-knit group, as you can see, after 25 years. We're still here. Thank you.
You know, I went from the top down to the bottom, and I'm going to start at the top again. I did not print this.
Yeah.
So I don't want to start in the middle. The first player, Ted Darcus.
I always say it's big place. First of all, it's an honor being here today to the college, to the Alumni Association, to all the friends, and to those individuals that are not here today, but is in the hearts of all of us. As I look back, to the years when I first started in Furgason, and the things that you learn there through your family, through your friends. You come here today and you see it still being here 25 years later. It happened by accident. It happened because Darcus was a good player. It happened because guys that was from Marion County, throughout the Ohio area, to other areas, they came together as a group. When you talk about coming together, somebody has to put that in place. Too often, we give accolades to other people, but there was one person that we truly owe that to. And it's tough to stand here and not feel the way I feel, because that's how close this person's been to me, to my family, to my kids, and to you, because you were part of that family too. That person is Coach Retton and his wife, Nancy. When I say coach, let me tell you, she was just as important as a coach as he was, because she took a lot of the heat. So it made my job become easy, especially when you got on that ball court, because I knew what type of job the coach wanted to happen. And when we played at Bergville, we would go to Clevertown, we'd go to these little towns, and you were called everything under the sun, and you were treated very badly. But one thing that we learned was put the ball through the hoop, and they're going to start respecting. And that lasted from Bergville, my 9th grade year, to the 12th, Fairmont State, and including my life in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, with 3,000 youngsters that I work with on a daily basis. When they sit down in my office, you see all the Fairmont State memories sitting around there, to see all the pictures, and they talk about these kind of things to me, and I look back and I say, if you could only keep in mind one thing, and that is, if you grow up and you do not allow yourself to be caught up in the world of all the bad. We could have done that. We could have been very jubilant the night of Tech's win when they were down 9 points. We sit there at halftime and we were wondering what's going to happen because they've already made a selection of Mike Baird being the MVP. And Coach said in their locker room, the first thing he said, because that first half, Dwight Conaway had not done a thing. And we knew without Dwight, Darcus, Coach Retton, Fairmont State was not going to represent us in anywhere but back at Fairmont State. So what do you do to get that team rolling? You pick out the biggest man. He says, we lose this ball game because of you, Dwight. To make a long story short, we go out there in the first three rebounds, Dwight snatched them. First 9 points, Dwight got it. And I looked over at Coach and I winked and said, we're going to win. And that's how it all started. And again, to all the cheerleaders, Frank Lee, and all my good buddies, my roommates, all those years, thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a tough act to follow, I'll tell you. It's something I tried to do 25 years ago, and I couldn't do it anyway. But, you know, it takes a lot of things to be successful. And I think two of the ingredients are to be lucky and to be good. Well, I think Ted was good, and I was lucky. I got to Fairmont State by accident. So this, you know, you talk about how something changes history. I'm sure that you people thought a lot about where you're going to college and made a big decision. I didn't do that. When I graduated from high school, I had a coach from Fairmont, and Puppy Knight, which some of you may know, and he gave me a map, and he said, you should go to Fairmont, go to school. I showed up the first day for classes. That was the first time I saw the institution, so I was really lucky to go there and be a part of this organization and part of this team. As I say, being lucky and being in the right place at the right time has been the way I've lived almost. Now I'm living in Canada, assistant athletic director of the university, and it happened about the same way. I'd been teaching in Ohio for 5 years, and all of a sudden the phone rings one night, it's Tuffy Knight again, who says, hey, I need a basketball coach up here. I said, where's up here? And he said, in Canada. He said, I need a basketball coach, a head basketball coach, and assistant football coach. So what I do, I pack my bags again, I go up there, I've been there for 20 years, same house. So I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what to say. Just wait for the phone to ring again. It was a great experience. These have been tremendous friends over the years, and just a great opportunity for all of us to get together, and we really appreciate what you've done. Thank you.
Well, when I first seen Coach, the first time you see Coach in 25 years, I didn't know whether he's going to hug me, punch me, or what. He knew Teddy the longest, and he knew me the shortest. have this basketball team in my memory, and it was a wonderful time. These guys here deserved everything they had. They had a good teacher.
Guys, I think, really, I get a little older, you lose a little bit in my memory, but I haven't lost, I think, as much as they say I've lost. Dwight? Big D, you call it, you can see why.
I'm not gonna say too much, but I want to thank Fairmont State for their support and so forth, but it's been on so forth. These people right here. There's special people to me. Start off with, I had done everything except say I do when I was out of high school. To the service, I was going to take an oath, taking all the tests, and I was going to Vietnam, except for again. And a man with high Davis. Come out. Give me some of his time. And he said he'd like to see me come up to Fairmont State. I had no desire to go to college at that time. I told him I had no money. And he told me I'd give you a job. And I went up there, and I wasn't the best student in the world. Most people know that. I made it the first semester. Two quality points over to the other. So I thought, well, I can make this go, I can improve. So a little more effort, and with the help of my wife, I made it through college. Those people, they weren't as surprised as I was. And of course, my Davis passed away after my second year. Bill and I, at work one day, said, I know you next coach. He said, Fairview will be able to beat Berkeley once in a while now. Me and this small guy back there, we had some ball games. And when I was a sophomore, that was a biggie. They had to burn us to the regular season. I'm talking about just whatever they want to do, they did. But we upset them in the tournament. And Teddy and I have been close there ever since. We go to Fairmont State. Get a few good guys to go along with us. And I tell you people, we look like everything but a basketball team. I would say, of all of us, size-wise, Dave Miller was the only one who looked like basketball. And skinny people. There's a couple guys here. Don't look at him as a kid. Had a little small guy there. Collins, top cat. That's what we call him, because he always had a fancy hat. Best six man on the block. Always come in and done. Everybody contributed. I'm sorry to say Lucien wasn't able to make it, but he contributed. Bill Purple, everybody contributed. And one thing about it, we have unity. With unity, we've done it all. We scored almost 100 points a game. I don't even have to go half the time. Because I'd wait. These guys take it. That was our success. Move the ball down the floor. And we've done that well. The team got it suit. And I hope in 5 years we'll get together again. And I hope we're all here.
First thing, frankly, on this, President Hall says, how big we can pay. I'm talking about 6'3", 6'4". Played with 145, started to get really back. But they have lost 3 in a row in their game. And I keep on talking about it. I mean, that is there's very little that you can't do. And I've heard about it. I have a name on this list, and I don't know trust. That's what I did because of this guy, Frank Lee. So, Frank, I had your name down, okay? So there's another one of my stalwarts there. That's so much what I hope you will. I think you did put a little extra on your place. Furgason, the principal, Fairmont.
I was just happy to walk in today and see that I had a seat in this room and didn't have to sit somewhere else. I don't think too many guys have said too much about the cheerleaders. I might be able to spend a little more time talking about I could spend a little more time talking about their contributions. How supportive they were and everything. They were great. We had like the coaches, we didn't use the term then, but I guess you have to reflect back and look at it and see how close we actually were. I came out of a high school and we had a lot of athletic success. I had great friends, but I still have the same friends. But when I graduated from high school, I still have the same friends. There's a difference when you can share or you can establish a goal and achieve that goal. And with these guys, we were able to achieve the goals that we set out to achieve. And that's not always possible in life. Probably the things that I remember most is the things that I learned from each and every one of these guys. I came from a little redneck town from Leesville. Didn't know anything much about blacks or race or anything. And TC would stay up all night telling me about and he's still going to say TC, Teddy would just go TC. We roomed together and we rode in the cars together. I look back and I don't realize how close you actually stopped at a restaurant. They didn't want to serve. They were coach, or they wouldn't understand what it was. They wouldn't serve blacks. None of the same. And I learned right then to do that too. Everybody is the same. Plus, we were able to set out and achieve what we set out to because we had one motivator that kept everyone's head straight. And it's not true. Coach Retton didn't have 3 sons. He only had 2. But in college, we thought that he had 3 sons. I'm not making that up. He and I talked about that a lot. I think it went back 4 years farther than very good. But I learned something from each one of these guys. And like Teddy, you know, all the fame, everybody at Fairmont State College, just, you couldn't go anywhere. People just treated him like the person he is. He's something special, but it never affected him. It never changed him. And that's what made Teddy Darcus special. He was humble. He's just a good man. Stan, we shared some other experiences. You know, Stan played with a great basketball player out of Romney by the name of Billy Mathis, and they called him the Red Delicious, and we got the crab apple. See, I wasn't here last night to defend myself. Now, we called him the Golden Delicious. Then it was Pooch and I don't know how many of you remember a guy by the name of Jerry Moore, but Coach Retton thought that we could play man for man. Pooch and I had the job of trying to stop Jerry Moore. We did a real good job. What did he get, Pooch? 35? Then there's the Tunnelton Flash, the Goose. I don't know. I never seen anybody just step out of high school, a small Class A high school, which I came out of 110, and he just stepped into college, like the first time he ever went out there. You just knew that this guy was going to be something special, and he was. That's his point on the WVIAC also. Next, I don't know to talk about Cheryl and Dwight because they were a team. I mean, it wasn't just Dwight; it was Dwight and Cheryl. I remember Teddy used to every once in a while I could give him a little advice when he looked a little sluggish the first half about some things. But Teddy helped mature that relationship. But you know, with Dwight, you could just see, you know, his physique, he wasn't the most gifted person that way. Now let me finish. But when you talk about an athlete, natural ability, who was able to do the things he was, I've never seen anyone get more out of himself than what Dwight did. If you always, you know, remember you talked about working on the playgrounds and things? Well, he had to go through it. I was the guy that did all the work, and Dwight just sat around and worried about his grades and things. See, I made a constant one to get ready for school. And I remember the time that he was talking about Bill Nisley, when I got started working on the playground. Teddy and Dwight and I all worked together in some of them. It was a sad time. We didn't know what the future was going to hold. We were upset. But then we heard that it was going to be Coach Retton. Teddy assured us that things were going to be okay. personalities on this team, but there was only one personality when it came to the team, and that was that was this guy. He taught us that you had to be together, you had to play together to achieve the goal that he wanted. We didn't sit down and talk about we were going to do this or we were going to do that. We just approached each game individually, and that was our goal for tonight, just to play our game and everything would take care of itself, and it did. And you know, I may have followed in his footsteps as much as anybody, because, you know, I didn't realize at the time the lessons that he was trying to teach. He always used to tell me he's going to make a man out of me. I used to sticker, short coach. But, you know, I've had some success doing the same things that he did as coaching. And basically what I did, and the way and the things that I've taught my players were the same things that he taught me. And I had a goal when I came out and got out of college. I wanted to return to my alma mater and make it a win. And without the leadership and the things that I learned in college, I would have never, ever been able to achieve that goal. So that is one of the things.
Since he finished like he did, the story I was going to tell about Saturday night, tech night, Amen.
I would also like to extend my thanks to Fairmont State for having this event today. There was one guy that I've heard Coach Retton as he has talked about the people of Fairmont. When I graduated from Fairmont State College, my intent was to go to George Washington University on scholarship. I had a friend that had just transferred from Shepherd, and he asked me that summer if I would ride to Fairmont when he registered. And I said, well, sure, you know, I had nothing else to do. So I walked in to the registrar's office, and the first man I can remember meeting at Fairmont State was Mr. Dwight. And I'm sitting in the outer office while this friend of mine was registering to go to Fairmont. And Mr. Milam came out and for some reason picked up what my name was because I played at Fairmont State. And he said, well, would you be interested in coming to Fairmont? And I said, no, I'm here for the ride. So he said, I have a man I want you to meet. And I can remember nothing more was said. We directly walked over to Oldback Gymnasium and Coach Retton was there. And he introduced me, and nothing much was really said. But when I went back home and talked to my parents, I knew I didn't want to go to a big school. I thought I don't know what it was about the campus at Fairmont State, but the closeness or whatever it may be. So the decision I made in 1963, I'm sure it affected the outcome of my life. And some of the good lessons and great friendships that have been bonded over the years. My wife made a comment to me last night. She said she could see or feel the closeness that we had. It's something that a lot of people don't even experience. And it's something that you'd like to hold on to. Okay, and all your comments, and it's awfully hard to follow what Dwight and Ted and the other comments that your teammates have made here today. Some of the values and the things that you hold inside that you sometimes do not or are not able to express until it's too late. The good Lord, thank God, has given us the opportunity to still be together as a unit. I don't think any of us, all of us still live 25 years later. Sometimes we take that for granted. Some of the experiences that I remember with Frank Lee, riding in the station wagons, seeing all the people that have been great supporters throughout the years at Fairmont State. The tradition, hopefully, can come alive again. I realize in the last 6 or 7 years, but with the leadership that probably could be that the other young athletes experience what we have gone through. So to each and every one of you that has a direct effect on myself and my life, I'm glad in '63 I took the ride. Well, with myself, I would not be here today. And being able to express my thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you.
And we're all.
I have so many, I have a cold and a sore throat this morning, so you'll bear with me. A few things I just have to say. In 1963, I graduated from high school. I was come to Fairmont State to play ball with my neighbors, and during that summer he died. It was quite a while before I found out he was going to be coach, so I have kind of a unique experience. Coach Retton, it was my first. And I sort of regret that a lot of, I only had 2 years to spend with some of these guys and playing basketball. 1963, I arrived at Fairmont State in a 1949 Chevrolet. Probably the second time my parents had ever been out of Preston County. Since that time, with the experience I had at Fairmont State, almost everything that I have touched, I've been a success at. And I contributed a lot of that to the experience I had with Coach Retton and fellow basketball players and cheerleaders. The lessons I've learned. It's hard to put into words, just true feeling. The last evening, we were sitting around talking, and I must be older than the rest of them, but the things they were talking about, I couldn't remember a lot of them. Maybe I'm not too good on specifics or anything, but I've had a chance of going to school at Fairmont State. I went to University of Virginia, got a master's degree. That was 2 educations. I now have a 3rd education. Ran to the House of Delegates. I'm now in the House of Delegates. And that's a total new education. And I believe that if it hadn't been for me taking that route again, like staying here in 1963, down to Fairmont State, that I wouldn't be here today, or I wouldn't have been able to accomplish the things that I have today. It was a unique experience, and I have been nowhere in the United States that people do not know about Fairmont State and about the teams and what they stand for. So I would like to thank the Alumni Association, Coach Retton, for all these guidance that he has given me, for the spatial memories of the team. Not just scoring or playing, but the fellowship that we used to have, knowing who they are. And I just can't express my appreciation for that experience. Thank you.
Anyway, we have a couple players on the field. First, you see that? That's not the way it is. Bill mentioned something I think is good. You know, how he was lucky, maybe it's something that, you know,
Top 10.
I also want to thank everybody who's present, the president, the Alumni Association. Indeed brings great pleasure. My experiences are probably different. You know, I'm the only on this particular team who returned as a professor at Fairmont State College from 1959. I have to bring in a few of my, as they generally say, you know, people you're going to plug. You know, I see the art here. I have to plug them. They're from my neighborhood. Farmville. Probably many years ago, I used to play pickleball on Farmville football field. Probably lived in school. I had to and I was related to football. I know they've always been very supportive of Farmville and all of that. But one thing we've heard several times, having been mentioned, is Conaway, North Carolina. It happened to have been maybe a very focal point in many of our lives, but it definitely centered in terms of myself. When Coach Retton made the statement that one can't stay, none of us stay, and I told Coach Retton that it was a great word. I said it's something that I have to fight the rest of my life. You know, and I have continued to fight, and will continue to fight in any place that I have to do, because I don't particularly feel it's a fair assessment of the other way. So after graduating from Fairmont State College, I went to Detroit and teach math. Came back to Fairmont, went back fighting racism in terms of hiring practices. Individual, who happened to, was a department chairman, and he was very progressive in terms of hiring, whereby he had women, men, individuals who viewed differently than the general society. So whenever the university decided to evaluate him, they said, well, hey, the kind of job you're doing isn't the way we want the university to do. So we got time. Probably comes back to the thing of integrity that Coach Retton teaches. Well, what do you do? Do you keep your job, take care of your family, or do you protect the person that you believe has some integrity and purpose? So I did whatever I needed to do. I didn't have a job, but I did not. So I left there and went to Detroit Institute of Technology, got another job. But, I've always been able to find jobs. And believe it or not, you can make it even if you don't have a job. Hey, I don't have a job, but I'm really good. Live better than the most of them. I go where I want to go. I do whatever I want to do. Because see, that's the freedom that exists within us. But I feel that a lot of this extends back from, and I shared this, Fergie. I said, there's a kind of tenacity that you learn on the basketball court that doesn't leave you when you leave that court. It takes you through life. And the kinds of things that we hear individuals reflecting today is an integral part of what we want. So if someone says, TC, you're wrong, well, then they're saying Coach Retton's wrong. I know there's a ball game that's coming up, but I could probably talk day in and day out. The different kinds of experiences. And one thing, and after being around for a couple of days, I said it would be great at times if what we had or we have had would be able to be disseminated through Fairmont State today. Because it's just something that we can't put in words and meaning and whatever that is. But it's part of that winning tradition. I was telling Ted when he and I first walked into the Holiday Inn, and we just talked and said, I wonder where Coach Retton's at. And then someone came up and said, oh yeah, well, he's in room so-and-so. I said, well, hey, this guy must be from Fairmont. You're from Fairmont? I said, no, he said, I'm from Buchanan, but he said, but I make sure that I follow him. These are some of the intricacies that I think that is indeed important. So hey, I'm not going to be lingering anyone any longer. I sometimes feel that the moment has been probably one of the greatest experiences that I have had. And I think it has indeed helped me to elevate to wherever point in life that I happen to be. Hey, I'm not totally washed up, but at the same time, it's just something that you can't always explain to another person. It's something that each and every one of you have to experience. Like Coach Retton and I, we had a real beautiful kind of relationship, and we've also had some tough times. But one thing that I've always admired about him, he could respect my difference. And I remember in the 60s, I was coming down and I was playing by the Black Panther Party. And I got the TC, so I said, hey, you can't tell me. And I don't want you to tell me until they can experience what I'm experiencing. Shut the hell up. But all in all, he was still so hey, I told you last night in this little meeting that we had. Hey, Coach, I said, I said, 25 years ago, you were right. You didn't have any options. I said, not tonight. Hey, you can't tell nobody.
that in the school car. The kids say, I had a pack, go on, get like in the army this morning. And, tickets, and you all for the team and whoever, I have some tickets to give you all. So when it's all over, we'll just meet over there on this side. Ted has something to say.
Finally, I want to make a presentation for Coach Retton on behalf of the ball players and the cheerleaders. And this here is a small token from this card says here's to everything you've done and all that you still do. And one more special here's to you and for being with you.
Thank you, Coach Retton, team, and cheerleaders. How many more years we got to do this? 15? I don't know if I can take it. I'm crying. I can't do this. It's really great to see the camaraderie and all. It's a pleasure to have with us today, as Coach Retton mentioned, Randy Hess and his assistant Dave Morgan just completed their first year as coaching our basketball team, and it's finished a very respectable fifth in the conference going into the tournament. As Coach Retton mentioned, played a very tough Concord team that shot the lights out there the other night and have managed to make it into the finals tonight. So had a very strong year, and I'd like to Randy to come up and make a few comments.
First of all, I feel honored to be in this room here, much less that we represent Fairmont State College as the basketball coach. I grew up watching the conference tournament. That's the only time I see Fairmont play. That's the only time I play then. Followed the competition. Was played in the league, which you guys opened up a can of worms that year that anybody that ever coaches or played at Fairmont has to put up with. And that is, anytime you play one of our conferences, it's like the World Championship tour. If you go to Salem, they beat you at Salem, the fans run out on the floor and they're going crazy. You get a it's the same thing. And that started with you guys. So now, when I came here in '82 as an assistant coach Cooper, the first time I went to scout the basketball game, anybody could tell how they play. They play hard, they shoot well. He started laughing and said, wait, they play up. So, they played hard, they shot well. So, I figured out real quick, when you scout, you just figure out what they like to do and multiply it by 10. That's how we play this stuff. Now this year, assistant coach Dave supported a great job this year. Very happy to have him. He's from New England, so he goes one direction, I go the other. Scout the first game. So what do you do? They don't shoot. They don't rebound. They don't even play hard. So we'll wait till they play fair. He said, well, I don't think that'll change it. Let's get that. Wait till they play Fairmont. So he got to taste that real quick, right, Coach? Exactly right. But again, I feel honored. I really appreciate what you all started for Fairmont State College.
Coming today. As most of you know, the 65 team will be presented at halftime at this afternoon's 4:30 championship game. So we'll basically going to the game and get to see these good-looking guys again. To conclude, I'd just like to make a brief statement that I'm very proud to be associated with the school, not only because of the athletics, but the academics behind the program. And I think the school is going to do really well in the years to come. I wish to thank the 65 team for coming in all over the world, Canada, and everywhere else that they come in from, and Coach Retton and all of you that's come today. Thank you very much, and be safe today. Thanks for coming.
right in there.
You can get the front row in, can't you?
I can get the front row just fine.
That's right, just get the front row. You're in the back, and you're in good shape. Put your hand on his shoulder.
Wait a minute,
Does this automatically rewind?
No, it doesn't.
No?
You want to take another one?
Yeah, I'll take another one.
Okay. You got the lens cap off?
Don't get started stuff.
What are you talking about, bro?
Yes.
Not very much.
Oh, I can't.
Oh, push the silver button.
Hey, man. That's just one.
That's just one.
Nancy Red. Nancy Red. Nancy Red. Nancy Red.
Nancy Rat.
Nancy Red. They want you.
Wait a minute, Fred. Wait a minute, Fred.
Wait, Fred, I tell you, that's pretty good.
Wait, get one in there.
The veil.
Someone's got to help Furgason.
Wait, just a minute. Too late to say something. Yeah, it's like count, Fred.
Tell your wife, sir, Coop.
Jeez.
Does this wind by itself, Bob?
Yeah, you have to, on the right hand side, turn it. Keep turning till it stops.
Hey, after another minute, you always got to start praying.
That's right.
That is a fair trade.
I can vouch for some of them.
One more. Another check here, okay?
Hey, Coach.
Coach.
Thank you.
I did mention this.
Yes, got everybody ready?
I said I did mention.
You haven't taken that much?
Thanks.
Thank you.
WVIAC Tournament, the 1965 Fairmont State College basketball team, which won the WVIAC Tournament championship 25 years ago. I direct your attention to the basketball court as the team members in attendance are introduced. First of all, head coach Joe Retton. Mel Fletcher. Team members Ted Darcus. John Smith. Bill Brookover. Dwight Conaway. Bill Furgason. Stan Shingleton. Dave Miller. T.C. Collins. Not in attendance, Bill Moody and Frank Lissette. Also not in attendance, the manager, Jim Seaman. Cheerleaders, Mikey Reagan. Linda Cooper. Bobby Mormon. And not in attendance, Judy Lumen, and also Lorraine Kaznowski. The 1965 Falcons finished the year with a 32-4 record and the #1 ranking among small colleges in America. The team brought the Falcons their first WVIAC Tournament championship since 1949 and brought Coach Joe Retton his 50th career win in the 3-game NAIA playoff after the tournament. The team gave Fairmont State their first NAIA tournament appearance and an impressive 4th place finish in the national event. Two of the players, Dwight Conaway and Ted Darcus, were named to the all-conference team, and Conaway was was named first team NAIA All-American. The Falcons averaged 100 points per contest for the year and gave second-year head coach Joe Retton impressive wins over WVIAC regular season champions West Virginia Tech in the NAIA District 28 playoff. This squad of 25 years ago set the pace for what became known as the Falcon era for the next 2 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome this year's 25th anniversary team, the 1965 Fairmont State College Fighting Falcons.
Okay, at halftime of tonight's AB game, the Fairmont State Falcons of 1965 were honored. Every year, the tournament champ from 25 years past gets that honor. This happened to be the 25th anniversary of the Fairmont State dynasty. 1965 was Joe Retton's second year as head coach, and that particular Falcon team was ranked #1 in the nation with a 32-4 record, and they averaged 103 points per game. And yes, that's without the three-point shot. All but two of the 1965 Falcons were on hand for the ceremonies this afternoon. And we also have women's action from today to tell you about #1 rank.
Didn't have to sit and idle. The 1965 Fairmont State Falcons, they were honored yesterday. 25 years ago, this team went 32-4, averaged 103 points per game, and the #1 ranking in the nation. Yes, 103 points, and they didn't have three-point shots back then. The team was #1, and they were honored yesterday at halftime of the AB Concord game. Now,